Hello everyone and welcome back to Harlan is in Danger. Fun special bonus episode for you today. I guess I should say my name. I'm Tom, and I'm joined by my good friend Mitch, as always.
I am also here.
Messing things up. And we got just a fun little video for y'all today, but before we get into that, couple caveats. So first and foremost is there will be some spoilers for the City of Archives and Forgotten Age in general throughout this video. Second, this is kind of like a homebrew custom investigator thingy. It's relatively untested. I did a little bit of testing for it, and we've done a lot of like theory crafting for it. But it's subject to change, and we're really kind of thinking about this within the terms of the progression challenge. And third, we designed these using only cards from the City of Archives Mythos pack, and trying to use as light a touch as possible. So,
Yeah.
with all that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and get us started and say, holy crap, we designed the Yithian Investigator. That's already been designed, but oh well. So yeah,
And now he's actually playable.
yeah, exactly. So this is playable. We gave him the little signature. Okay, I have to manage screens now. This is going to be his signature card, the Custodian, and this is going to be his signature weakness, out of body experience. We have had to do some changes kind of like throughout for all of these cards, but we'll get into that in a second. First thing I want to do is just kind of talk about the front of Body of a Yithian. So, for everyone who is not familiar with this, the Body of a Yithian is a neutral investigator that has 2s in all its stats, the monster Yithian traits, and has the special subtext, each of your ally assets gain the Yithian trait. Which is kind of fun, and I don't think we played with that at all, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. The big thing we did play with was the reaction ability. After you commit a card to a skill test you are performing, double the skill icons on that card, limit once per test. So that's kind of like where we found the most fraught ground to try and like build this monster into something playable. And then the star effect is +2 draw a card, which is actually, like, in my testing, was really relevant a lot of times. So and then 7 and 7. Yeah, so do you want to talk any more about like why we wanted to do this, kind of like the context of where we're doing this in the progression quest or anything like that before we move into like what we changed?
Yeah. So I really love it when we get to play the extra like bonus investigators that they're like, the game will always say like, oh, you can't use it, officially. But this is the progression challenge, and we're allowed to be a little bit funky, and it's a nice chance to kind of like see what could have been, like if you could play the Yithian. And
Yeah.
It also makes sense in the progression challenge, because if you get stuck in the body of a Yithian, then that would carry over into the next sequence. So it just makes a lot of sense that you would be able to just choose an investigator. You could just purchase them with XP and then play from the get-go, because
Yeah.
you're sort of finding people along the way. So yeah, we thought it was a nice fit.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And I think, like, actually, while we're talking about the progression challenge, the way you get him is if you side with the Yithians and have a certain thing in the progression challenge, right?
Yeah.
So there's kind of like, hey, we've made an alliance with aliens, and now they're going to help us make it so Azathoth doesn't consume the world or something.
Right. So we may not actually unlock him this particular challenge run, but that is a slight goal.
Yeah.
Or a big goal.
Okay. And yeah, so with the front in mind, let's kind of move on to like what we gave for the deck building.
Well, actually, I want to say for the Custodian too, the reason we settled on him is everything else was like a card that already existed in the game, and so we had to kind of find one that was weirdly enough neutral, and that seemed like kind of the perfect choice. It is like he's pertinent in the scenario itself, but also like in every other context, you could just slide right into your deck.
Yeah. And we have had to change like each of these cards at least a little bit, so we'll get into that, but I think we should probably just start with the actual deck building, because that's kind of like the exciting part. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, this is in order to play this character. These are the cards you're going to need. They're all found in either the City of Archives Mythos pack or the Forgotten Age campaign box. And as I said earlier, we have adjusted each of these cards slightly for campaign play. So yeah, this was like kind of one of our, I think, we were talking a lot about early on, like what we wanted to do and how we wanted to like. I remember you asked me like at one point, okay, are we attached to this all being in one pack, or can we like branch out throughout the rest of the Forgotten Age? And we were like, we kind of just want it to all be in one pack. We want all these cards to be playable with just this one pack. So yeah, City of Archives. That's all you need to play this guy.
If you pick that up, you get a brand new investigator.
That's,
I mean, who knew?
And like, okay, so this was like the thing. I remember like the first time I played this scenario. This was like this was my third campaign, I think. So I think I played Night of the Zealot, Dunwich, and then Forgotten Age, and then Circle and Dawn, and then Dream Eaters. But I remember like the first time I opened this pack, and I was like, oh my god, we get a new investigator. And then we turned it over to the back, and it said Yithians can't build decks, and I was like, oh.
Not anymore.
So impetus for this next slide. All right. So as written on the back of the Yithian card, you cannot make this guy usable in a full campaign. And we've changed pretty much everything about the back of this guy besides his flavor text. I don't know if this will fit on the card. I didn't actually try and do that. But basically, deck size is going to be 35 for this guy. So this is like Lola size deck building. And the reason for that is with the Custodian as your signature, you're going to be drawing cards and drawing through your deck a lot faster if you can get the Custodian. And then we kind of
and the Custodian, he starts in play, is that right?
Yeah. So that's gonna be coming up here next. And then we kind of base the rest, I guess, a little bit more off of like Charlie. So you get a class choice like Charlie. So at deck creation, you can choose one class, and those are the classes that are listed there. And then your actual deck building options are cards with 3 or more printed skill icons, 0 to 5. So that's kind of like your main class. Neutral cards 0 to 5, and then cards from your chosen class 0 to 1. And then
and the secondary class is really just to help if you have nothing but the core set and the body of an Yithian, so that way you have a few more options. Because most cards that have 3 or more printed skill icons are really high XP.
Yeah.
Which makes them really funny to play, because then you're purchasing cards that they all have to be massively expensive, and then they're one and dones in a lot of cases. So.
Yeah, and it's such an interesting thing. Like, I think when I was testing these out, there were times where I was like, oh cool, this thing has a lot of icons, I can definitely play it. And then I was like, but I don't know that I actually want to commit it. So you kind of get like I don't think these guys, I think we did a pretty good job of not making these guys too powerful or something like that. They definitely feel like a little bit on the weaker side because their deck building, it gets insane. Like when you get to higher levels and you can play some of like the crazy cards, it gets crazy. But for the most part, they're very weak at the beginnings and very squishy. And yeah, okay, let's go. I'll save a lot of my specific card interactions for a little bit later in the conversation. So let's go ahead and go and talk about the Custodian and out of body experience, which is deck building requirements. They also get a random basic weakness, which you're going to see a lot of, just so you know, because both Custodian and out of body experience make you like go through your deck really fast. So, all right, let's go to those weaknesses though. All right, so the signature assets each gain kind of like a when not playing City of Archives text. So the Custodian gains as additional setup while not playing City of Archives, spawn the Custodian at the furthest location from all investigators. And for this scenario, only Yithians may parlay with it, and it is parlayed using resources instead of clues. So the big like push for this was to give the Yithians like a goal early in the scenario. Like, okay, I want to go over there and find that guy. Because for those of you that aren't familiar with the Custodian, it has basically a reaction ability that says when the investigator phase begins, if you control the Custodian, each investigator at your location draws one card. So not only is it drawing you a card every investigation phase, but it's also drawing any friends that happen to be with you a card. It gives you a lot of power very quickly, especially early on. And then in order to get a hold of him, you have to parlay him by testing Intellect 3. And then in City of Archives, you place a clue on him to get control of him. And then if there's player clues, you take control of him. For the rest of every other scenario, you're just going to put resources on them. So he essentially ends up costing 2 resources and 2 actions in 2 player to get you 2 cards a turn until out of body experience happens to you. So At base, out-of-body experience is revelation. Shuffle each card in your hand into your deck and draw an equal number of cards. Shuffle out-of-body experience back into your deck. So this is one of those weaknesses that loofs. It gains the additional revelation text if you are not playing City of Archives, and control the custodian. Attach the custodian to your location and remove all tokens from it. So that means you have to parlay this guy again, because basically you've had an existential crisis. You're like, why am I helping these humans? And the custodian's like, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you're like aliens, and then you want to like buddy up, and then one of you starts to be acting a little human, and it's like, what have you done?
Yeah. And it's like, it's wild, because you'll hit this. Basically what'll happen in kind of like my play patterns is I'd go get the custodian. That would happen in the first couple of turns. I'd draw tons and tons of cards from myself and the other investigator that I was playing alongside the Ithian. I'd hit out of body experience, and then I'd have this really interesting moment where I'm like, is it worth it for me to try and get the custodian again? Because now my deck is like 15, 10 cards. Out of body experience is still in there. I could spend 2 actions and 2 resources to parlay this guy, but then I'm just going to draw my out of body experience and have to do it again. But because out of body experience keeps shuffling back into your deck, you basically are saying like, okay, I'm just not going to try and convince the custodian to help out anymore. Because it's your location. You're basically just leaving him there, and you're probably not going to go back for him. It's really interesting. It's like a really interesting kind of loop. You get so much power in the beginning, and then depending on when your out of body experience hits, you're just like, oh, okay. Do I keep trying to get us cards? And like, as the Ithian player, or as the Ithian, I guess, player, I was always like, I don't know if I want to do this, but like as the other character, I was like, I want you to do this. This is literally no downside for me.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, keep talking to that guy. Keep giving me more cards. Yeah, it's great. So yeah. Okay. So now that we've talked about all the cards, I think this was the next slide. I'm gonna put you on the spot and do a little game with you. So, for building the level 0 Yithian, your main class is basically, when you build a level 0 Yithian, you basically are going to be relying on your off class. But in the current card pool, your main class, the cards that have 3 or more printed skill icons, the way that it kind of breaks down across classes is one class has 1 card that has 3 or more printed skill icons. Another class has 2 or more two cards that have 3 or more printed skill icons, and so on and so forth, up to 5. So there's 15 in total, and I'm going to ask you if you can figure out what the class is with 1 card that Yithians can take all the time.
Oh. Snap. I don't know if I can get it down that specifically. Can I just name the cards?
Yeah. You can name the cards. So, but you know, I have it laid out. So the next slide is going to say what the class is that can take, that has the 1 card with 3 or more printed skill icons. So.
Oh, okay. I see. So I'm guessing. So these are cards that are, just in general in the card pool, like.
Yeah, so this is the card pool
up. Out of the whole card pool.
There's just Scarlet Keys.
Like Corset.
No, this is up to Scarlet Keys. Okay. And then there's a couple caveats later on because we've already been shown in like a preview for the next Feast of Hemlock Vale, a card that has 3 or more skill icons. So.
Okay, well I think I'll try to go by class. So let's see. Well, I start with Guardian then. Guardian has Take the Initiative. It has Inspiring Presence. Mm-hmm. It has Armor of Ardennes.
This is just level 0 cards. Just level 0 cards.
Oh, level 0 cards. Yeah. Okay, just level 0 cards? Okay, so never mind Armor.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is what it can start out deck building. That's what you're saying. Okay. Okay, the first 2 are right, though, right?
Yeah, so those are definitely 2. So which class, though? I guess I'm going to rephrase my question to try and lead you to the answer. So the question is, which class has only 1 card that a level 0 Yithian can take? Always.
Ooh, that's tricky. Alright,
I'm going to give you a hint.
So I don't know what card it is, but I think it's Rogue. I'm going to try with Rogue.
Alright, I'm going to go to the next slide. It's actually Mystic. And it's apparently Mystic only has Promise of Power as a card, like a card with 3 or more skill icons. Yeah, for level 0, that was it. Yeah.
Huh.
And I will say about Promise of Power, you think with the Ithian's ability to get like 8 skill icons from this, you just pass every test. I have literally drawn the curse and still ended up failing the test. So that
The
was
curses are bad.
curses are bad. That's they
Don't
still
play with power like that.
I apparently not. Okay. But I mean I am going to say the next one you did get it right. It is Rogue
It
next.
is broke.
So
Okay.
they have Watch This and You Owe Me One are the two cards that have 3 or more printed
Okay.
skill icons.
Okay. Gotcha.
And these were interesting. I played these a little bit, and I ended up just cutting them because they're not quite good enough, even when they double their skill icons. I think
Yeah, because it's +2 still.
yeah, Watch This. I was like, okay, this is good. Maybe a good way to get that money, so I can bribe my custodian friend to come help out. But in the long run, it was just like I would end up committing another card and then committing this card for 1 to try and get that money, and it was like kind of a loss of tempo a little bit. And then You Owe Me One is not very good. It's not a very good card. It does have a book symbol, so sometimes that was relevant. Sometimes I'd be like, all right, I'll just push this for 2 books. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one on the list, I'm gonna guess Survivor. I think
Okay, you sure?
Guardian and well, 2, 3. I know Guardians have at least 3. I'm thinking they probably have one more.
Mm-hmm.
Seeker has. Let's see.
Oh, I'm enjoying this.
Ooh,
I'm
yeah, I know. Yeah.
I was
This is
telling you
hard.
that I was telling you this before the stream, but I think like or the recording, but I think like if I had not figured like done this on my own, I would not be able to do this. So I have a mad amounts of respect for you for still playing along and trying. I'm gonna end your
Well, yeah,
suffering. I'm gonna end your
hey.
suffering. You've said who it is. It is it's Seeker next. Shit. Damn it. I got that wrong.
Dang it. Okay, so I thought of all 3 of those, but I was like, there's probably at least one other. Okay, so it is Seeker. All right, all right.
So there's a little asterisk here, and this is basically because I forgot how this works and tried to look it up in the FAQ, but I couldn't find it. There is one more card that goes in level 0 decks, that is Seeker, that has 3 or more skill icons, and that's Bloodright. But I forgot how this works. So it's a bonded card. Like Bloodright's a bonded card that goes to something book, Occult Lexicon.
Yeah.
And Occult Lexicon does not have 3 printed skill icons. But I feel like there was a ruling recently where they were like, if the bonded card fits the deck building, you can take the card that puts it in. Like, so I'm like,
Oh, okay.
so I don't know where we
Oh,
stand
I
on
see.
that. But
Well, I'm gonna say right now, just have at you.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
I guess so. Yeah, I think it's
Breaking the rules anyways, so
yeah,
whatever.
we're already breaking the rules. Go for it. Throw your Occult Lexicons and Bloodrights in there. So yeah, I didn't really play with these cards as much. I think I put Barricade in 2 of the 3 level 0 decks that I played through with, and I don't think I used it any of the times. I think it ended up getting cut pretty early in all instances. Eureka's good because it gets you another card, but it suffers that same problem of like you can only double up 1 icon, so you're still only like getting a +2, which only puts you at 4. And then Inquiring Mind was admittedly fine until you drew it in like the end of the scenario, and then you were like,
The clues.
there's no
Yep.
clues. This does nothing now.
Yep.
I really need to pass a test, and there's no clues. Okay, moving on. So I kind of messed it up, so I'm just going to go ahead and go to the next one. The next one is Guardian.
Survivor.
No, it's
Oh, it's Guardian.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's
Okay, now I'm really curious about the Survivor one.
yeah. So
Yeah,
we
this
got,
is what I was thinking. I forgot about fighting lessons. That's new.
Mhm.
But yes, daring, inspiring presence, and take the initiative.
yeah, and those are all great. So this was actually, I think, like Inspiring Presence, even though it was another like mess of single icons, like having the ability to ready an asset or an ally asset was just really nice. Like yeah, it was just kind of nice. Like I ended up what did I get into in my I played this in like the rogue solo deck that I did that I forgot to save, but I think it was like something like Lonnie or something to just sort of handle healing and give me that plus fist. But it was just nice to like take some damage on some things, heal twice with Lonnie, and spend a couple resources. It was really cool. So, yeah.
Yeah, Guardians have actually really good skills.
They really do. So this was nice. And then
Intrepid aside.
yeah, Intrepid aside. So I've been playing, I think I've told you about this, my Sister Mary deck that's just trying to make Intrepid work with butterfly swords. It's done okay.
That's awesome. I love it.
It's done.
I actually love the concept of Intrepid.
Yeah.
It sucks, and I never play it. But I mean, I put it in my deck all the time, and I just never get to play it.
Yeah, yeah. It's a weird card that I've been trying to make work for years, and I finally feel like I found a place for it in Sister Mary. So
nice.
yeah.
I want to try that. I'm curious.
Yeah, and then another asterisk here because just like with Seeker and Occult Lexicon, Hollowed Mirror has bonded cards that have 3 skill icons. So play with it. I just put the asterisks in because I couldn't figure out if it was something that like rules as written allows you to do it, but that's okay.
Okay, well now give me a second to see if I can guess all 5 of the Survivor cards.
Go for it. I don't think I can.
Resourceful. So I know we have Resourceful. Okay, you must be. Oh wait a minute, no, you can't be counting Brute Force.
I'm not counting Brute Force. That's level 1, yeah.
So.
And also only 1 printed skill icon.
I ranked Survivor to like way low, so now I'm curious where all of them are. And then there's Resourceful.
I'm trying to remember them all right now as well. One deals with blessings, I guess.
Blessing Curse. Signum Crucis? Oh, Beloved?
Beloved, yeah. Beloved is 1.
Beloved does. Okay. So Beloved. Signum Crucis, does that one or no?
Signum Crucis, I think, is only 1 wild icon. And I think it's still technically level 2, even though it's tabooed to or chained to cast 2 less.
Oh, yes. Okay. So Beloved is the one we're thinking of then. Okay,
yeah.
So Beloved, Resourceful.
Okay, I'll give you another hint. There's one that scales with the amount of cards you have in your hand.
Oh, okay. So Last Chance, and then there's actually 2 that kind of play with this. Strength in Numbers. Oh no, Strength in Numbers is an XP, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It is, yeah.
Dang. So, but Last Chance is the one you're thinking of.
Yeah, Last Chance is the one I'm thinking of. And then there's the one that's like, you can only commit it to a test that's 2 or higher, but I can't remember the last one.
Oh, Rise to the Occasion.
Rise to the Occasion, thank you. Yeah, I'm like, what is that one called? I can see the art.
I can see the image in my mind.
Yeah, but I don't remember the last one.
What the heck?
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I remember it. Yeah, I'm not gonna give you a hint for this one because I can't think of a very like subtle hint.
Okay, I guess I'll have to yield at this point.
All right.
It's tough.
So we got. Oh, gonna go. There it is. So it was Not Without a Fight was the one we were missing. It's the one that you committed to a fight and you gets plus icons to however many guys are engaged with you. I only remember this because for my fighter Yithian, I was playing through Dream Eaters. And I was like, this card is great in Dream Eaters. Oh my god, everything's engaged with me. I'm just getting like, and then like, you have 2 guys engaged with you. You're like, oh cool, I get +3 with the Not Without a Fight. And then you double it with the Yithian. You're like, I'm at +6. I'm unstoppable. And then you draw that curse you put in with Promise of Power. And you lose the test anyways. Yeah, so
or better yet, you draw a Bless. And you committed Beloved just to be on the safe side, and now it was all pointless for not.
Well, no, Beloved's like, isn't it like if you reveal a Blessed token, you automatically pass? Yeah. Beloved's great.
Okay, so you don't draw Beloved, you just draw, or you don't play that, you just draw the Bless, and then that just
and it just
useless.
It cascades into an autofill. That's just how blessings work. We know that. Yeah, so those are the 15 cards you can play at level 0. And again, this also has an asterisk because there was just in the Hemlock Vale preview article, there was like a like wrong place, right time or something like that event in Survivor that also had like 3 icons on it and looked pretty good. It was an event. So
they broke the code. Look at this nice format they had.
I know. I had this written like because I think I wrote through this part like a couple weeks ago, and then like Hemlock Bill came out, and I was like, oh, well, I'm not gonna. This is up to Scarlet Keys. It hasn't been released. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at two of the decks that I built. So first
Yeah.
we have the yellow Yithian. So this was my kind of Kluver, and I had this paired with, I think, a Skids. And this side really suffered. Like, I think I very much like underestimated how much I would need to get clues, or how much support I would need to get clues. Because I thought like, oh, I'm playing Grizzly Totem, I can give an additional icon as well, and then double it. I'm playing like Lab Assistance and to get cards. But man, like I was just suffering with getting clues, and like I think it was a lot of Rise to the
Really?
Occasion's fault because like I was on a lot of three shroud locations where I just couldn't commit Rise to the Occasion, um, and like but Eureka still wasn't enough, or Watch This still wasn't enough because I was only getting +2.
Weird, because the deck looks phenomenal just by looking at it. I would never have guessed. Like, you get your Grizzly Totem down and you get an extra icon. And then after you've gobbled up all the clues with, like, your perceptions and your deductions and watch this, you have money to get your Yithian. Then you connect the dots to also get some extra clues. Like, this seems great. I want to try it.
Connect the dots, both connect the dots and working a hunch. Really, I ended up just committing most of the time, like because I was like,
Oh,
okay,
wow.
I have to get my Yithian friend. That's a book test. Um,
Hmm.
Working a hunch, I would sometimes like grab the clue, but it would be like it's at a two shroud location. I'm pretty sure I can figure that out. Maybe I just use this to like commit to a higher book test or something like that. Or because it's 4, +4 actually feels better sometimes. And there were like those locations that were like, if you don't succeed by X, bad thing. And maybe I should have just used working a hunch. But I also was like kind of starved for money because Watch This never worked, and I'm really bad at gambling. Yeah, so this deck definitely struggled. And then I also had Stubborn Detective, which was a nightmare to deal with a Yithian because he shows up and you're just like, I can't do anything. Stop looking at me.
Well, yeah, because his base function is you commit something like Unexpected Courage, 2 wilds, which then becomes 4.
Hmm.
And then he has a base of 2, so it puts you at a 6. So it's in good shape, but it's kind of like Charlie in that way.
Yeah.
Because Charlie often gets up to like a 6, but it's a little like, I mean, you can go up over that easily, but you're like, oh, I need to disperse the amount
Yeah.
of times to boost myself. So you try to get, it's like, first turn is like up, you're at 6, and then second turn you're like, 5, and then the next turn you're like, I got nothing.
Yeah, exactly. That was kind of my experience playing the Yellow Yithian. And
Okay.
I would definitely like I think and like deduction was really hard to get to work too. Like that was the thing that was like I got deduction. It commits for 2 symbols now. But then I was like I have one magnifying glass out. Where's my Grizzly Totem? This deduction's not doing enough. Like it very much felt like that's it. It felt
Hmm.
like that same problem that you have when you're playing like a Kluver Charlie, where you're just like, uh, yeah, I guess I can beat this 4 book test, but ooh, it's really hard.
Yeah. Just becomes so costly. All
Yeah,
right, interesting.
yeah.
Well,
So that was strange, and I was also just like drawing like I consistently had the problem with this deck where I was drawing the wrong side of my decks, and I was playing through Dream Eaters with this one as well. So, but thankfully I had Skids, and he had 3 book, so he was actually pretty okay at getting clues. Like Skids, the fact that Skids shined made me really question this deck
oh
as
boy.
well. So, but yeah, that was a little
All right,
rough.
so experimental yellow Yithian for those who dare.
Yeah, yeah. The blue Yithian, however, oops. Apparently I have the thing coming in like that. All right, the blue Yithian, however, did great. I loved this deck. This was so much fun. I basically like Sledgehammer is such a good card for Yithians because like you can get the do like the double action to get the boost if you don't have like a good skill card to commit. But if you have a good skill card to commit, losing one fist, the difference between 1 and 2 is so minimal. If you're
Yeah.
gonna go +8, anyways, so it was just nice. But this is also like the place where I was like committing Promise of Powers, thinking I could, only pass with a +8, and then something horrible would
Mhm.
happen. Oh, I also had Dread Curse as my random basic weakness. That's right. That's why I was drawing so many curses for this one. But yeah, this one was a lot of fun. It was fun to
Yeah.
just be a Yithian swinging a hammer, putting out a bandolier, and then like
Mhm.
healing people with a book of Psalms.
It's like a prophet.
It was a prophet Yithian. Yeah, this one had a lot of trouble like convincing the custodian to hang out with them. Like that was I
Okay.
think the big
Because it's
thing
an intellect test.
because it's
Yeah.
an intellect test. And I think I had the Promise of Powers. I had the unexpected courages and the take the initiatives, but it's a when you're playing with two investigators, it's a two tests. So I had to like make sure that I could pass both of them.
I see. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. So this one did okay, but it was like kind of not really playing as much with the signature as much. So. Oh, but this was alongside Norman, so Norman also would commit tests because Norman was like, "I got books. I'm playing the Seeker. I'll give you I'll give you some things for some cards. I like getting more cards."
Nice.
Yeah. So that was cool. And like it was easier for me to convince myself like, okay, there's no enemies around. I can go talk to the custodian. I have like downtime and there's things I can do. So I did like a couple times throughout this campaign like be like, the custodian's all the way back there, but I got nothing to do this turn, so I guess I'll just walk back there and talk to him once, and talk to him again, and then do something like a heroic rescue, which is a great card for Yithians, ironically.
Huh.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead, and then the last slide we're going to talk about is some good upgrades for Yithians, and we just, I think, picked... Oh my god, okay. I think we picked 8. So I just want to talk about these kind of individually. So, Deciphered Reality. This is a very expensive card. So the thing that I realized with this card is like you're moving around anyway to chase after your custodian. You leave clues behind if you're the cluever. This is a great way to just pick up some of those clues. And if you need it to, it commits for 4 book, which feels kind of bad, but also doesn't feel that bad. Like,
and keep in mind these cards you can take them all in the same deck because it's the number of icons that they have. So if there's synergies among them, you can use.
Yeah.
So like Deciphered Reality and like I'm not sure if that actually pairs with anything.
The Atlas, all of
other
these
than
pair,
Astron class,
all of these pair with the Atlas.
Yeah.
Oh, the Atlas is good in this deck, which is fun. It's a fun thematic thing. I guess we should just talk about that while we're thinking about it. So this I wanted to put in every deck I played with as a Yithian. This felt like something that I just needed to play with because it was great. It was just so fantastic to be able to do like I'm investing in all these extra icons, and then to be able to use it both for the icons. This and also Crystallizer of Dreams when I played like a green Yithian through solo.
Okay.
It was just really nice to
that makes sense.
be able to use the icons as well as the effects of the cards I was investing in. So that was cool. Those I think are 2 really good ways to take the Yithian. I tried in that solo deck to do both, and I was like, I don't need this. I draw so many cards. I'm using cards 3 different times. I don't need to be playing with both the Crystallizer and the Atlas, but it was still pretty cool to see it work.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, Armor of Their
Yeah,
Dentist.
and I love...
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say, that's the one I thought of, because it's a card that like nobody plays. But if you could use it as a Guts or an Overpower, actually better than the 2 of those, why wouldn't you? And also, like, they're pretty weak. They don't have like a ton of health or sanity, so having this to just like absorb some of those hits would be really nice, I think.
Yeah. The other thing I was thinking about with this one is if you play a red Yithian, it's very easy to make scavenging work, because you can definitely spike to like above 2, so you'll pass by more than 2 to get this back into your hand, and then you have like a recurable Guts or Overpower.
Oh wow!
That you can eventually play when you have the money for it.
That would be super cool. Interesting.
Yeah. So that, like, along with any of these other things that are items, it was just like, that was something I was thinking about for Red Yithian. That's like a fun thing you can do to get really, like, actually pretty powerful.
That makes sense, because you can't, I mean, I would think it would be hard to wear as with a Yithian body. So really, you're just holding it up, the suit of armor, and like empowering yourself that way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a little small. It's more of a bracelet on a Yithian, right? Like a Van Brace of Ardennis.
It takes up an accessory slot in this case.
Yeah. The next card is Against All Odds, which is when you perform a skill test with a difficulty higher than your base skill. That's very easy to do with a Yithian. And then you get to reveal X additional Chaos tokens and choose 1 to resolve. So I use this in my upgraded blue Yithian deck. And it was just really fun to be able to be like, okay, I'm swinging with the sledgehammer, I got +5, and I don't want to draw the auto fail. Oh wait, this is a 5 test, and I only have 2 printed combat. I'll reveal 3 tokens
Right.
and just probably
Yeah.
draw like the star, or like if I draw, even like if I draw an Elder Thing autofill and a -4, I pass on the -4. That's fine. It's just those 2 other tokens that I don't really want to deal with. And when you could just
Yeah.
get rid of those, it was just like, so it really like this felt like a home for that card, is like a fighter Yithian, because I was just like, I don't need
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
resources. I got myself set up. I just need to not miss
Mhm.
fighting this giant uh, boss guy.
Yeah, that's solid.
What's the name? The Weaver of the Cosmos. That's who I was fighting, and I was
Yeah.
just like, ah, sweet, I can just not miss with a hammer. Cool, they're dead. Um,
Nice.
yeah. And the next card is
You also have the Beretta, I see.
yeah. This was in like, I think the fun thing about this, I didn't play with this card, but it's easy to succeed by a big amount. It's like really easy to do the succeed by X archetype is as a Yithian, because you just put some promise of powers in and pretend the curses don't exist. But you just get to go up 8.
Mhm.
It's hard.
Yeah, that's
It's very hard to not pass by at least 2 when you're up 8, and like then you just kind of ignore the downside of the Beretta. So
yeah, that's a solid weapon of choice. Hilarious that they can like use it like tentacle in the trigger and
yeah,
everything.
they got the 3 arms, so they're like figure it out.
Electric pouch.
Yeah, the aim's not
And then
great.
Eye of Truth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was your vote. I actually, yeah. So you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, I mean, I just love Eye of Truth in general, but I mean, the thought of the satisfaction of getting +8 from one card is very, very sweet.
With no downside.
With no downside whatsoever, just being like, Psh, ah, get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. This
Yeah, I don't
one.
know how synergistic it is, other than that Eye of Truth is an excellent card, and being able to mix it with anything
Hmm.
is really good.
Yeah. I think this would be
The only
really.
down,
Oh, go ahead.
what? I was gonna say the only downside is that maybe, like, Eye of Truth wants to be played against treachery cards. It doesn't have to be, but that's what it wants. So, I mean, it's good if that's what you're doing, but if you're kind of like, oh, I really want to succeed my deciphered reality test or something, it works for that. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, it would give you a massive spike if you needed it for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think like this goes up in value when you're playing with, like, if you're playing a yellow Yithian that has practice makes perfect or something, which already sounds like it's a pretty good time. Just playing some
Hmm.
practice skills. Uh,
Yeah.
then yeah, you get this. You get to use it once and use it again. Like any way that you can use this twice and get +8 to 2 tests is really just great. Same with
Yeah.
Astronomical Atlas. If you can get it under your Atlas, that sounds really fun. And then the other thing I was thinking about with this is there's gotta be like, I don't know if I ever really like got some good cycling in my deck. Like I was drawing pretty fast, but out of
Okay.
body experience shuffling back in sometimes would make it so I didn't go through my deck more than once. Um,
Hmm.
but maybe there is like something to just pitching it to a test you really need to be up a lot on, and trying to like fish for it back with something like Astronomical Atlas, or uh, another way of getting some of that crazy card draw if you really commit to like making your Yithian or your Custodian your friend.
Hmm. Huh.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see that.
All right.
And then Heroic Rescue. That's an interesting choice.
Yeah, this was one of the ones I was like, I kind of forgot that this was a card I ended up playing with because I had it in my level 0 deck and I upgraded it. But it's nice to be able to move to the same location as your friend, especially like if they've already taken their turn and it's the enemy phase and you have the Custodian, because then you get to give them a card. Um, I think like another
Stop
like
it.
shortcut level 2 would probably do like a similar thing. Like you really do
Mhm.
kind of want to be on the same location as your other investigators, because like they get cards and there's no downside for them. There's only the downside for you if you draw your out of body experience. So it yeah, it was kind of like a weirdly good card that I haven't really played with before, that I was just like, oh man, I can not only can't or take the attack for you, and I'm like not unbeefy. I have 7 and 7, so I can take a couple hits, um, deal some damage to a guy, but also like next beginning of the next investigation phase, I'm at your location, so go ahead and draw a card.
Yeah.
It was
I
just
see what you're saying. You've seen it as kind of a shortcut isn't bad because they can't take shortcut, I don't think.
not well if they're yellow
Not
Yithians,
or
they
that
can.
level.
The level 0
Well,
only with
not
the
not
yellow.
level 2 is what I'm thinking.
Does that have 3 icons? Oh my god. I feel like I thought it did, but
I'll check. Uh,
no, that's not the.
I don't think it does.
It might only have 2. I think you actually are right.
I'm not sure that it has really any. Oh
I
wait, no, it does. Never mind. You can take shortcut level 2. It has 3
Hey.
icons: willpower and intellect and a. All right, so never mind. Another point for shortcut, as if it needed it.
Yeah. I don't know if this is actually like. I don't know. It costs 1 though. You don't need that.
That is true.
Costs 1, attaches
Just
to your
free.
location. This is free, and you just have to take
And
an
a
attack.
damage.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta get beat up.
You just gotta get beat up. That's fine. You're a Yithian. You can take it. You're a monster. And then we already talked about Astronomical Atlas, but the last one we should definitely mention is the hammer.
Yeah, that's my choice. Just because it's Cyclopean.
Yeah. It's a thematic win.
But also, I mean, it's got the Armor Ardennis skill icon, sweet. And you can technically scavenge this one as well, if you really wanted.
Yeah, I think like thinking about like these big expensive items in like a scavenging deck is really fun because you can just keep throwing it to tests, spiking investigations to get it back, and then when you have the money to play it, playing it down so you can like start hitting things like real hard.
Yeah.
Like there's something to that I'm like really interested in as like a scavenger Yithian. Yeah, I'm interested in that. That was
Yeah, I'm curious.
I'm really I gotta say like I played a green, blue, and a yellow Yithian, and I think I've been playing a lot of Arkham lately, both with the progression challenge with my partner and showing a new person some Arkham, and then also testing these Yithians. But I really want to go through and play as like a red or a purple Yithian too. Like after I finished the run through with the blue and the yellow one, I was like, man, I feel like the red and the purple Yithian would be so interesting. I really want to see if I can get it down the rabbit hole deck working with the Yithians. I don't think I can, because I'd have to be in purple, and like I think Shriveling 5 has 3 icons, and
I think so, yes. That would be tricky, though.
that would be
yeah,
it would be
'cause
really hard. Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know.
We'll let you guys speculate on how to do that. Hopefully, we get to play some Yithians in the progression challenge, but of course, we have to unlock them. That said, we do have some other fun, exciting resolutions for the Forgotten Age campaign. So even if we don't pick up the Yithians this run, whatever we get, we both kind of decided was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be fun no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's it. So thank you all so much for watching this video, and let us, if you have any like ideas for other cool cards that Yithians can use, there's a lot, but let us know, because we have not even started making an exhaustive list of them, and hopefully we're gonna play some of them on this channel at some point, even if it's just for like a standalone at some point. But
oh, we'll definitely play them.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
that'll happen. I just don't know if we'll get them this campaign, but they're gonna show up.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, thanks again for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time.